The greatest library the ancient world ever built held the knowledge of dozens of cultures under one roof. People imagine it burning to the ground in one terrible night, lost in a single great fire. The real story is slower, sadder, and far stranger than that. The Library of Alexandria was built in Egypt more than 2,000 years ago, during the rule of the kings who came after Alexander the Great. The city of Alexandria sat on the coast and became a hub where ships, traders, and scholars from across the known world all met. The rulers wanted their city to hold every book ever written. So they hunted for scrolls everywhere they could. Their methods were aggressive. When ships docked in the harbor, officials would search them for any scrolls on board. Those scrolls would be taken and copied. Often the library kept the original and gave the owner the copy. The collection grew to a size that stunned visitors. Estimates of how many scrolls it held range wildly, but the number was enormous for its time. This was more than a storehouse for books. It was a center of learning where some of the brightest minds of the ancient world worked and argued and made discoveries. Scholars there studied the stars, measured the size of the earth, and copied and corrected old texts so they would survive. Losing a place like that meant losing far more than paper. So how did it die? The popular image of one giant fire comes from a real event, but that event was only part of the story. During a war, the Roman general Julius Caesar found himself trapped in Alexandria. To escape a dangerous spot, his forces set fire to ships in the harbor. The fire spread to parts of the city near the docks, and ancient writers say it damaged storehouses full of scrolls, possibly some belonging to the library. But the library did not vanish that night. Records show that scholars kept working in Alexandria for a long time after Caesar's fire. The institution was wounded, not killed. This is the part most people miss. The library suffered many blows across several centuries, and no single one finished it off. Other disasters followed. The city of Alexandria saw more wars, more sieges, and more unrest over the years. Each round of fighting could damage buildings and scatter or destroy collections of books. A library is fragile. Scrolls are made of plant fiber and animal skin. Damp, fire, neglect, and theft can erase them slowly even without a dramatic blaze. Funding and care mattered just as much as fire. A great library needs money, staff, and rulers who value it. Over time, the political winds in Egypt shifted. Some rulers expelled scholars or cut support. When the people who knew how to copy and protect the scrolls were pushed out or stopped being paid, the collection began to rot from the inside. A book that is not copied as it ages eventually crumbles to dust. There were also later episodes that ancient and medieval writers blamed for the library's end. Some pointed to religious conflict in the city centuries after Caesar, when mobs attacked temples and centers of old learning. Others told stories of a much later destruction under new rulers. Many of these later tales are hard to prove, and some were written long after the events by people with their own reasons to assign blame. This is why historians today reject the simple one-fire myth. The honest picture is one of slow decline over many centuries. War damaged it. Politics starved it. Neglect ate at it. Religious and cultural conflict struck at what remained. By the time the last clear traces of the library faded, there may not have been one dramatic ending at all, just a long fade until almost nothing was left. The deeper tragedy is not the fire. It is the steady loss of care. A single blaze makes for a powerful image, but the real killer was time. And the choices of people who stopped protecting the collection. Knowledge that took hundreds of years to gather slipped away because no one kept rescuing it from decay. Nobody knows exactly how many works were lost forever. Whole books by ancient authors are known only because later writers mentioned them. The texts themselves are gone. Each lost scroll might have held a discovery, a poem, a history, or a piece of science that humanity then had to figure out all over again, sometimes more than 1,000 years later. The main library was not the only home for its treasures. A second, smaller collection sat in another part of the city, attached to a grand temple. This daughter library held copies and overflow from the main one. Spreading the scrolls across more than one site should have made them safer, since a disaster in one place would not erase everything. Yet over the long centuries, both the main collection and its offshoot suffered their own slow ruin. The work done there shaped how people understood the world. Scholars at Alexandria measured the size of the Earth with surprising accuracy using little more than shadows and math. Others mapped the stars, studied the human body, and corrected the texts of older writers so the words would not drift as they were copied again and again. Losing that center did not just cost books. It cost the steady, patient work of keeping knowledge accurate across generations. It helps to understand why scrolls were so fragile. They were made from a reed plant beaten into sheets, or from treated animal skin. Both could rot in damp air, crack when too dry, or burn in an instant. A scroll had no backup unless someone copied it by hand, a slow and costly task. If the people paid to copy and repair the collection stopped working, the scrolls began to die quietly on their shelves, eaten by time and neglect. Picture the modern version of this loss. Imagine if much of the world's stored knowledge sat in one set of buildings, with only a few copies, and the people who maintained it slowly walked away. That is close to what happened here. The tragedy was not only the fires and the wars. It was the failure to keep rescuing the knowledge from the steady decay that threatens any collection left untended. There is a lesson buried in these ruins that still applies today. Great stores of knowledge do not survive on their own. They need money, skilled people, and leaders who care enough to protect them year after year. The Library of Alexandria stands as a warning across the centuries. What takes generations to gather can be lost in far less time once the world stops paying attention. That is the haunting part of the story. The Library of Alexandria did not die in a flash. It bled out slowly, over centuries, while the world moved on around it. And by the time people fully understood what had been lost, there was no way to ever get it back. If the lost corners of history pull at you the way they pull at us, subscribe and stay close. Tell us in the comments which lost place you want explored next, and we will dig it up.